Hello, everyone, and good evening. I hope everyone is doing great today. All right, so I'm just going to wait for people to join in and then we can chat. I have a really great topic for you guys. Actually, there are three things I want to discuss. So I'm going to go over them one by one. So I want to say hello to everyone. I haven't talked to you guys in a while because I traveled. I had a family member have a baby, so I went to visit, and then I was a little under the weather. Still, I'm a little under the weather, but I'm feeling better today. So I wanted to discuss some topics, and I just felt that this was really important for you guys to know because this information to be had because there's been a lot of fear mongering. Oh my goodness, fear mongering all around the immigrant community. Yes, we know that we have a new president, President Trump. We know that his uh, foremost agenda is, deporting immigrants. And so as a result of that, there's been a lot of stories just going crazy, having people worried. We've had so many phone calls to our office with, just asking for information and reassurance. So I want to talk about certain things. Hi, Gukaran Singh, how are you? Thank you for joining. I want to talk about certain things so that we can basically have an idea of what's going on. And so let me first of all welcome people who are joining me. If you're joining me for the first time, let me know that this is your first time. And for those who do not know me, my name is Ifama Odunlami. I am an immigration attorney. My law office is in New Jersey, but we serve clients in all 50 states of the United States, and we're here to assist fellow immigrants in getting legal status. We want to help you find a pathway to legal status so that you can live in the United States without fear of being deported, without fear of being separated from your family and your loved ones. And so, well, Abdul Rahman, thank you for joining. So let's start off with the rumor that was going through the immigrant community about the dual citizenship. Apparently, there's a story about an Ivorian woman from Ivory Coast that was barred. She's a woman from Ivory Coast that also is a U.S. citizen. And the news that was circulating was that she came into the United States after a trip and was barred by CBP from coming back in, and they took her American passport. Now, let's be clear about this. The law allows people who are dual citizens, that is, if you're a citizen of the United States and another citizen, to travel with both passports. So according to the rumor, this woman traveled with her Ivorian passport, and so she came back in with the U.S. passport, and the United States will not let her in. That cannot be true, and I'll tell you why. First of all, when you're leaving the United States, you typically have to have your United States your passport, which shows that you're a U.S. citizen, and then if you're traveling to another country, you either have to have a visa if that country requires a visa, or a passport if you are a native of that country. Like I am Nigerian, so typically Nigerians will travel with an American passport and with a Nigerian passport. And when you leave, you will be asked to show your American passport, right? And then they will ask to see the authorization that allows you to travel to another country. Because when you get to that country, your destination, that country is going to ask you for proof that you're allowed to come into their country. So you're either going to show that you have a visa, if you're required to have a visa to enter that country, or that you have a passport from that country, which makes you a dual citizen, which allows you to go in. Now, coming back from that country, right? Some countries will also want to see your passport. They want to see the passport from the country or the visa, whatever it is. And they also definitely, you must show your American passport, because if you're going into the United States, they're not going to let you in unless you can show that you have proof, you have an authorization to get back into the United States. So for those who have heard this story and they've been so worried, thinking that they're dual citizens and they're not going to be able to travel, this is a rumor. It's fear mongering. And I looked into this story a little bit more, and I realized two things. Number one, Ivory Coast does not permit dual citizens. So that woman, she can't she would either be a U.S. citizen or an Ivorian. She was not Ivory Coast does not permit dual citizens, so that puts a little chink in that story. Another thing is CBP cannot take your passport, your American passport. That's not the way it works. If somebody is going to be denaturalized, that is, they're going to be their U.S. citizenship is going to be taken away from them. It does not happen at the airport. It's a complicated, very rarely done process in federal court. So send this video to anybody you know who's been calling you to be and asking you these questions, because I think I must have had like maybe everybody I know and their mother and their father texting me and asking me if this is true. So the consensus in my lawyer community is that it's false, because the law hasn't changed. It's still the same. If you're a dual citizen, you can travel to another country, or you just have to take your United States passport and also the passport of that country, if that's what you need to travel to that country with. So I hope that clears that up. So let me say hello to a couple of people that have just joined. Hello, Suleiman, calling from Indianapolis. Nice to meet you. And James, hi. Hi, friend, how are you? Alton, hello, nice to see you. So let's see the people from Instagram. Hi, my Instagram family. And hi, my TikTok family. I'm also on YouTube as well. So the next topic I want to talk about, now that we've put that to rest, so if somebody else comes to make you to put you in fear that you cannot travel with your passports, just tell them that it's a dual citizen. You're a dual citizen. You're allowed by law to travel with both passports. Okay. So now, all of you know what's been going on. It's been 2.5 weeks of the new administration, and unless you're hiding underneath a rock, you must have seen those horrible videos of the raids in schools, raids at workplaces, immigration raids, because President Donald Trump said, has prioritized immigration and has promised mass deportation. And so we've seen that there's been a lot of ICE activity, even in places you do not expect. There are people who have had ICE come to their home, and they are in shock because they didn't think that ICE would know about them. So I'm going to tell you, it could be that a family member is calling ICE on them. And we've gotten a lot of information from people who said their abusive spouses, called ICE on them. That's what they're doing. Or they have family members or friends that they're not on good terms with, or their neighbors calling ICE on them. So I want to talk about people who have abusive spouses, who are U.S. citizens or green card holders, who are calling ICE on them. So if you are married to a U.S. citizen, or you're married to a green card holder, and you're in an abusive relationship, and abuse does not have to be only physical abuse. Abuse can be emotional. It can be constant threats to call ICE. It's all about control. It can be psychological abuse. It can be verbal abuse. It can be financial abuse. It can be sexual abuse. So if you're in an abusive relationship with a U.S. citizen or with a green card holder spouse, you could get your status through something called VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act. If you are a child of a U.S. citizen and you're under the age of 21, or you're the stepchild of a U.S. citizen or green card holder, or step parent, and your parents, that relationship was formed before you were 18, you could also have a pathway through filing for VAWA as an abused child. If you have children who are U.S. citizens and they're over the age of 21, you will also you can also file VAWA, and that's also a pathway. I stopped because I have some people on my comment section just passing rude comments, and what I don't understand is, Why are you in my life? This is not for you. If this bothers you, go somewhere else. So I'm having to kick them off because we don't tolerate rudeness here. So VAWA is an option. So if you're in a relationship where you've been trying to fix that relationship, maybe the person has already filed for you, right? And you're hanging in there hoping that the relationship gets better because you're afraid to leave because this person has filed a petition. This may not be the time to prey on that marriage because that person could call ICE and get you in deportation proceedings. It's best to take matters into your hands and reach out to an attorney who does a lot of VAWA cases, Violence Against Women's Act. And it applies to men, it applies to women, it applies to children. Now, in our office, we do a proper screening because not everyone qualifies for VAWA. And I'll give you a couple of examples of people who do not qualify for VAWA. Number one, you must be in a bona fide relationship. You cannot marry someone to get a green card and then want to file VAWA because they're treating you, they're maybe treating you badly, or they're holding you hostage on something. The one requirement of VAWA is that it has to be a bona fide marriage. You have to have married this person because you want to build a life with that person, right? Another group of people that do not qualify for VAWA are people who did not have a properly done divorce. So you were married before, and for some reason the divorce was not properly done. You can file VAWA with a new spouse because you have to have a legal marriage. So if your prior marriage was not properly terminated, then your current marriage is void. It's not recognized as a marriage and you can get no benefits from it. So, thank you, Suleiman. She says, do not mind distractors. I pay them no mind. Thank you. So those are two people that do not qualify for VAWA, okay? But it's really a thing. We're seeing a lot of attorneys are reporting that they have a lot of, they coming into the knowledge that a lot of people are calling ICE on their family members that they don't like. And even if they don't call ICE, even the threat of calling ICE is abusive. So if you have a spouse or parent or child who's threatening to call ICE on you, right, and that child or parent or spouse is a green card holder or US citizen, give our office a call. We'd like to help you. We service clients in all 50 states because immigration is federal law. And the number to call is 973-993-1900. And that's the only number you should be calling. And the reason is because there's a lot of people, scammers out there trying to get money from people pretending to be me. So call that number, or you can go to my website and schedule an appointment. Now, if you go on my website to schedule an appointment, typically it takes a little longer because we have more, when you call in person, we're able to get something quicker for you. But if you're not in a rush, you can always go to my website, which is www.odunlamilaw.com. So I'm going to shout out to my people on TikTok. Please be careful because I have on TikTok, I have people that come on my page and pretend to be me and give wrong numbers. So this is the number to call if you want to reach my office, 973-993-1900. And so some good news, and then I'll get into answering some questions. So yesterday, one of my clients got their green card. This was a VAWA client with, I don't remember, it was maybe, we've had this case for maybe 2.5 years, but I remember when he came into the office for consultation about his case, and he had no proof of his spouse's, that his spouse was a US citizen. He had nothing because the spouse had kicked him out. Literally, he came back home and the door and the locks had been changed. He had nothing, not a thing. And I remember him saying that he spent that night sleeping, I think, beside a tree. He had nowhere to go. And so when he came to us, and I think she had filed an application for him and she withdrew it, if I remember correctly. And when he came to us, he had nothing. And so this case was a case where we had to do a lot of thinking outside the box. We had to figure out and have proof that she was a U.S. citizen, and we're able to do that through checking the voters' records. We showed that she was voting, hence she's a U.S. citizen. We were also able to show that it was a bona fide marriage by showing that they had financial commingling. A lot of these things we had to go online to check for them because he had nothing. So they owned a home together. We were able to show he was on the deed by going online somewhere to get copies of the deed. So we had to do a lot of creative thinking to find the information we needed. And of course, his story was so compelling, and we were able to get him his VAWA approved. And yesterday he picked up his green card. So, and I just feel so humbled by the trust this client had on our firm, with our firm, because he would come here and say, I know that I'm gonna, because we had to renew his work permit a few times, and he's like, it's taken a while, but I know that you guys are working really hard, and we were, and I'm so glad that everything worked out for him. And today he's a U.S. citizen. In 3 years, he's going to be able to qualify to file for naturalization, because for VAWA clients, people who got their green card through VAWA, you don't have to wait 5 years, you wait 3 years. So, and then you can apply for naturalization, and that'll be awesome. So I will take a couple of questions, and then we can round up for the day. So Life is Strange says, I have filed my VAWA for almost 8 months. How long will it take for my work permit to arrive? And I have a prima facie. All right, Life is Strange. The EAD, the work permit, it could take anywhere from 6 months to 10 months. We're really seeing anywhere between those days, within that time period. So 8 months, give it another couple of months. And if you need a work permit urgently, that you can, reach out to have an expedite, but make sure you have a really good reason for requesting an expedite, okay? And requesting an expedite, you just call the 800 number and ask, tell them, and they'll give you instructions on what to do. But if you haven't gotten your work permit, you're still, it's still okay. You still have some time, okay? All right, so Tamika Green says, I was approved for my VAWA 3 weeks after they sent me to do another biometrics for my I-485. Do you think they will soon approve me for my green card? So Tamika, congratulations on your VAWA approval. And they sent you for another biometric. That is not out of the ordinary. It means that they just want to get your fingerprints again. The biometric is just, they do a search to make sure you have no criminal history, nothing has happened, that kind of thing. And then will they soon approve you? Well, you're towards the end of your journey right now, Tamika, because once you get your biometrics, in our office, we're seeing that within a period of, I'd say like maybe 6 months, they typically will put in an approval, but sometimes it takes longer, and we have a new administration, so it's really difficult to tell you how long it's going to take before they approve you. They may call you for an interview, because they now have VAWA interviews. So they may call you for an interview, or they may just approve you and send you a green card in the mail. But whichever one it is, I send you my good wishes, okay? All right, Jumanji says he had a conditional green card which expired, and you got a 24 months extension, and it's 24 months extension expired October. I-751 is still pending for 3 years, so I filed my citizenship. But I was interviewed for I-751 instead in April, but no update till date. Should I be worried? So that would be April of when? Well, this is how it works, Jumanji. I don't know if there's any reason to be worried, because I can't tell from what you've written, but it's typical for them to interview you. But typically they will interview you for the I-751 and also interview you for the N-400. But maybe they're just doing the I-751 and they're going to call you for the N-400 interview later on. That could happen. But I would say don't worry. I mean, unless there's a reason to worry. I mean, just the timelines with immigration are, a little crazy. So I know people want these things to move faster, and sometimes it doesn't move as fast as you want it, and that makes you worry. But honestly, I just think that people, when you worry, you just take away the enjoyment of your life, of your daily life. So you have no control over USCIS. I would say that you focus on what you can control. So if you file your citizenship and they haven't called you for an interview at say like 6, 7, 8 months, reach out to them and find out what it is. And if there's more going on with your case that you'd like to talk about, give our office a call, 973-993-1900. All right. So Mommy J515 Suleiman says, how long does green card based how long does the green card based marriage take in this new administration? Your guess is as good as mine. We're 3 weeks into this administration. We really don't know what to expect. But going from Trump 1.0, which is the previous administration, everything slowed down. Everything slowed down because they were doing so much with everything. Every marriage case had an interview, everything. So typically when you have a lot, when you have things like that, there's this, it slows down because they were doing just too much on everything. But we'll see. Okay. Let's see. Let me look up some questions on TikTok, and then I'll look at some questions on Instagram, and then. All right. I'm not really seeing any questions. Okay. Oh, Nangel says, I was an asylee, and after becoming a citizen, my son was denied his green card. Okay. So, Nangel, the thing is, when you become a citizen, when you have a derivative as an asylee, and you have a derivative, that stops them from getting their green card. So, what can you do? Well, how old is your son? You might have to apply for him. So give us a call and let's see what we can do to assist you. 973-993-1900. Okay? All right, let's go to Instagram. Hey, Instagram people. How's it going? All right. So Lermaville says, can a VAWA applicant with combo card still travel outside the United States with a combo card? Lermaville, we're not advising our clients to travel at this time because we've heard horror stories from the border, like CBP, not letting people who have a valid advance parole document in. So there's just a lot of stuff going on that, we're not sure what the policy for this new administration is with regards to certain things. So we're not advising our clients, even those with advanced parole, to travel right now until we have a better sense of what's going on. Are there people who are traveling without a problem? I'm sure there are, but you might want to, it depends on whether it's a chance you want to take. We've heard of F1 students, traveling and not being allowed in. I don't know how true all of these stories are, but these are just the stories, going around in the legal, in my lawyer groups, my immigration lawyer groups. So I'm going to assume that it's accurate. So you just want to be careful, okay? If it's not an emergency, I would say that you just hang in here in the United States for a little bit more and let's figure out what's going on. All right, let's see what their policies are. So in that Lotoma says, is a VAWA interview going to be for all people, or will it be selected randomly? So they're not interviewing every VAWA applicant, that's for sure. So I guess they have a reason for selecting the people that they're selecting, but they're not interviewing all VAWA applicants. All right. So Mr. Demi says, can you help file a waiver for permanent inadmissibility? Of course, that's one of the things we do. So give us a call. We'll be happy to assist you. 973-993-1900. All right. All right. So Abiola says they renewed your work authorization with travel parole, but they only renewed the work authorization without the parole. Sometimes they do that and I'll tell you why. In the last administration, they were prioritizing renewing work authorizations because they figured that people really wanted to work. And when they wait for to do it together with the advanced parole, sometimes it takes longer. So they started renewing the work authorizations earlier, and then they will come back with the advanced parole approval later. So it doesn't mean that the advanced parole is going to be denied. That's not what it means automatically. It's just that when they renew your work authorization really quickly, they're doing that for efficiency purposes. So, well, look out for the advanced parole. But remember what I said just now, we're not advising people to travel, okay? Bims Bam says, how long for US EAD to be approved? Honestly, EADs are taking a while, and in this new administration, all bets are off, so I can't really, I don't really know, but you can go to the process, USCIS case processing times and take a look and see what the average time is, okay? Let's see. So Julian says, what's the fastest way to obtain a green card when married to active military? But the same way everybody is applying, you file your petition, and depending on the manner of your entry, you can file an adjustment of status at the same time. And we always recommend that you file everything at the same time if you came in here, if you were inspected when you came in here. So you would file the I-130, I-485, 765, 131, 864, and all that. Put all of them together and send them out, okay? All right. I mean, there was somebody we had to request that they expedite the application because our client's spouse was military and was being posted somewhere. So we wanted them to expedite the whole process so that our client could join the spouse, and they did that. So if that's your situation, give us a call. We may be able to assist you. 973-993-1900. 973-993-1900. So, John Essien, you say your sister has an appointment with ICE. I think she needs a lawyer, okay? She definitely needs to talk to a lawyer because at ICE appointments, they are also detaining people. So you need to have her talk to a lawyer so a lawyer can review her case and advise her based on the specifics of her case. So I cannot give you legal advice, okay, without knowing more about your case. So Harry says his friend had a DWI from 15 years ago. His lawyer then told him it was a misdemeanor, not a crime. He overstayed his visa. You think he will be put on expedited removal if picked up? Well, the thing is, expedited removal really is applicable to people who have been here for 2 years or less, or who already have an order of removal. So what an expedited removal means is that they will not go before a judge. They will just be put in detention and deported. So if your friend has been here for 15 years, that's good because that means that he does not, he's been here for more than 2 years. And even if he's put in removal proceedings, he will have to go before the court, which is really taking quite a while, 6-7 years before a case is adjudicated. So yeah. All right, so let's see. I'm going to answer a few more questions. All right, so Olawumi Akinyo Juola says, what are my chances of naturalization? I got my permanent residence card on August 21, married to a U.S. citizen, but I make many trips abroad, I think is what you're saying. Can I start applying now? So Olawumi, I think there's a math to it. So if you're married to a U.S. citizen and you are still married to the U.S. citizen, you're able to apply for naturalization within 3 years after your green card. So definitely there is a physical presence requirement and a continuous presence requirement for naturalization. So as long as you're still in marital union with your spouse, then you could apply within 3 years, but you have to have been in the United States for at least 18 months within those 3 years. And you cannot have been outside the United States for more than 6 months at a time, because that begins to look like a case of there's a presumption of abandonment. So if you are not sure, I think the best thing to do is to talk to an attorney, because I can't really give you information without having the details. We actually have to count the days because there are strict requirements with regards to your physical presence and your continuous presence, okay? And as well as other things. So you might want to do a consultation. We're happy to assist you. 973-993-1900. So Amish says, so let me go to Keisha. Keisha says, I got arrested 17 years and the charge was disorderly conduct, but it was shoplifting. Can I still get through on a VAWA case? Keisha, based on just the information you're giving me, of course, but people who file VAWA sometimes have, criminal backgrounds for which they have to get a waiver, right? And just because you were charged with shoplifting does not mean you're not going to be successful in a VAWA case. Okay, so you definitely, if you qualify for VAWA, which is you're married to a U.S. citizen or you have other pathways, maybe you have a child or you're the child of a U.S. citizen or green card holder who's been abusive, the fact that you have an arrest in the past or disorderly conduct should not stop you from getting a VAWA approved as long as you meet the other requirements. You might need to file a waiver for the criminal conduct, okay, and for the past criminal history. All right. What if you're married to a naturalized citizen? What if you're married to a naturalized citizen and have been on filing but here illegal? I'm not really sure I understand this question. So I think what you're saying is that you're married to a naturalized U.S. citizen, but you're here illegally. So Amesh, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, whether naturalized or born here, that does not matter. But what matters is your manner of entry. How did you come into the United States? Did you come in here inspected? Maybe you came with a visa. The visa has now expired and you're undocumented now. Then that's fine. That's not a problem. But if you came through the border without being inspected, you're not going to be able to adjust your status here and get a green card unless you qualify for a humanitarian-based pathway. All right, like a T visa, U visa, SJIS. Well, you're married, so you can't do SJIS. Another thing I wanted to mention is if you're working for somebody and the person knows that you don't have any papers and you're working for them and they've been threatening you recently, or even at any point with calling ICE, treating you badly, that could also be a pathway to get a green card. So I think a lot of people, a lot of employers, a lot of spouses, a lot of family members are seeing this mass deportations as a way to get even on people that they don't like. But guess what? That could be a pathway for you to get your green card. So if this is happening to you or happening to somebody you know, give us a call, 973-993-1900. My consultation fee is $200, Aneta, okay? All right, guys. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. I haven't talked to you in a long time. I missed you guys. So hopefully next week we'll chat again and we'll talk about what the latest news is. It's like there's just so much going on that I don't know where to start, but follow my page on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. I try to update you guys with breaking news. All right. So take care and see you guys next week.